How's it going, Bulldog fans? It is your favorite left-handed middle infielder, Bailey Pulliam here, coming at you with some more from the stat lines for Mississippi State Bulldogs. Their second series in the books, they played Oregon State this past weekend. Oregon State's ranked number 25 nationally, and they're a constant presence in the postseason. Getting straight to the point, Mississippi State did win the series 2-1 with a score of 6-2 game 1, 7-4 game 2, and then they ended up losing game 3, 7-2. The rotation for this weekend was Kessler, McLeod, and Sarantola. So we'll get right into it. Game 1 Friday, JT Ginn did not start because of some arm soreness. We don't know how serious that is or when he'll be back, but that could end up being something not so great for the Bulldogs in the long run if he's not able to get well and get back in the rotation. But Game 1 was definitely a battle of the pitchers. Oregon State ended up striking out 10 times on the day, and Mississippi State ended up striking out 16 times in Game 1. Like I said, Kessler did get the start in place of Ginn being hurt, and Kessler was also slated to throw the midweek game last week, but that game ended up being canceled due to weather. So just kind of stars aligned, he was able to get the start for Friday. He ends up going 3 innings, only gives up 2 hits, 2 walks, has 4 strikeouts. From that stat line, you can see he did let guys on base, but not giving up any runs. He was able to work around them, didn't let them cross the plate, and that's good to see. Even if he is slated to be a midweek starter, coming in Game 1 against a nationally ranked opponent, not giving up any runs is pretty huge. He did have 52 pitches after just 2 innings, so he only goes 3 innings total. And then Sims is able to come in relief in the 4th. He gives 2 more innings to the Bulldogs. He only gives up 1 run on 2 hits, also has 3 Ks. But the pitcher of the day for Game 1 was definitely Chamberlain for Oregon State. He just had the Bulldogs' number, and he seemed to could do no wrong. He ends up going 5 1/3, only gives up 2 hits, and has 12 strikeouts. That is absurd. Props to him. Dunleavy ends up coming in for Sims. He ends up going 3 innings, so a great long relief effort from him. He only allows 1 run on 2 hits. He does have 2 walks, but he has 2 Ks, and he ends up picking up the win. I know what you're thinking right now, the win. Like Mississippi State hasn't scored. Well, we're getting there. So, top of the 8th, Oregon State plates their second run of the game, so it's 2-0. But the Mississippi State offense comes alive in the bottom of the inning, and they end up totaling 6 runs off of 5 hits, including a 3-run home run by Pimentel. And that's essentially all she wrote. Great effort by Chamberlain. The relievers and closers weren't able to pull it out for Oregon State. State's able to come alive late and secures Game 1, which then takes us to Game 2. Now, everyone at this point is wondering if Christian McLeod is going to post numbers like he did Week 1 in his first appearance. And I also think State was looking to get the bat started a little earlier. They don't want to wait till the 8th inning to have to score 6 runs to end up winning a ball game. So, that being said, Game 1 was a battle of pitchers and strikeouts. Game 2 was more the battle of walks because Mississippi State tallied 11 runners reaching base by way of base on balls. So showing patience at the plate, definitely not a bad thing. Take 90 feet where they give it to you. McLeod comes out, top of the first inning, sits down the first 3 batters for Oregon State in order. So he's showing that he's still ready to go, ready to play ball. Pimentel picks up where he left off in Game 1 in the bottom of the first, and he ends up getting a 2-out RBI single to put State on the board, so everything seems to be clicking for Mississippi State. And with everything clicking for Mississippi State, it seems like the wheels fell off for Oregon State in the bottom of the second. They end up allowing 3 runs on just 1 hit after a combination of walks and a hit batter. Definitely not what you wanted to see. However, McLeod showed that he's not Superman. He's not invincible. In the 4th inning, he does end up giving up 2 runs on 3 hits with a walk and a sac fly. He ends up throwing 30 pitches in the 4th inning alone, which I think kind of shortened his longevity for the rest of the game. But Mississippi State is able to answer in the bottom of the 4th inning. Josh Hatcher ends up hitting a solo home run, and then 2 singles and a walk load the bases. Tanner Allen, who we haven't seen since opening day, comes into pinch hit. And if you remember, Tanner Allen ended up not playing after taking a foul ball off the knee the rest of opening series. Unfortunately, he gets hit by a pitch in his first at bat back. But if there is a silver lining, he gets an RBI out of it, and he does end up playing Sunday as well, so it wasn't too serious. But you hate it for him getting beat up while in the batter's box. Back to pitching, Bednar comes in to relieve McLeod in the 6th, and that leaves McLeod with a stat line of 5 innings pitched. He only gives up 2 runs and 5 hits, 7 Ks, and 1 walk. He doesn't have another huge outing, or at least huge in the context of his last outing, but it's still great. A great outing. He does get the win. 7 Ks. He goes 5 innings, which is, I mean, it's great to see. I'm expecting big things out of Christian McLeod. I think he's doing really, really well. Oregon State does end up getting 2 runs back in the bottom of the ninth with a 2-run home run, but that's all they had left in the tank, and they do end up falling 7-4. Mississippi State takes game 2, which then brings us game 3. Funny how that works. And I'll be honest, I was working the women's basketball game during the majority of this baseball game, so I was only able to go and watch the last 2 innings of this game. So this really will be an interpretation of just looking at the stat lines for me for the majority of this one. Sarantola does get the start. He ends up going 5 innings. He only gives up 2 runs, with one of them being earned. He lets 3 hits go. He has 5 walks and 6 Ks. You look at those numbers and you think, okay, with 5 walks, maybe he was having a rough time finding the zone here and there. But only giving up 2 runs in 5 innings on a Sunday game, you're keeping your team in it. As long as your team's bats come alive, that's definitely still a manageable situation. I think he did really, really well. But it does look like it was another day for strikeouts because Oregon State and Mississippi State both ended up having 10 strikeouts on the day. You hate to see it. Definitely wasn't a very hitter's day for Mississippi State. Oregon State strikes first in the 2nd inning after a walk, and then a single, and then an error, and a wild pitch. It just kind of looks like one thing after another just kind of led to them being able to strike first. It was, like I said, it wasn't a good day at the plate for the Bulldogs because it was just strikeouts and groundouts and strikeouts and groundouts galore. Oregon State ends up scoring a 2nd run in the 4th, but Justin Foscue is able to answer in the bottom of the inning with a solo home run in the 4th inning, and then has an RBI double in the 6th inning. So Foscue doing his duties, beating the ball around the park, doing well in that aspect. That ties the game at 2 apiece, but similar to Oregon State's 2nd inning in game 2, it seems like the wheels kind of fell off for Mississippi State in the 8th inning. They end up giving up 4 runs on 4 hits. I'm not going to go into any details. I was able to watch that inning, and it was rough, to say the least. Oregon State adds 1 more run in the 9th just for good measure. And in their first bottom of the 9th of the season, Mississippi State isn't able to put anything together, and they end up falling 7-2. Like I said, they did win the series, not able to win game 3, but that leads to them being 5-1 on the season. They're looking to bounce back. They have 2 midweek games this week, both in Starkville at Dudy Noble Field. Tuesday, they host Texas Southern at 4 o'clock Central Time, and then Wednesday they turn around and play Alcorn State at 4 o'clock as well before heading out to California this weekend to play against Long Beach State in a weekend series. But that's that. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm Bailey Pulliam. Take it easy, guys. Peace.